Matteo Berretini versus Hubert Hurkacz, Wimbledon semi-finals review. If you have not watched the match or do not want it to be spoiled for you, click away in 3, 2, 1. Matteo Berretini wins and goes on to his first Grand Slam final after beating Hurkacz in 4 sets 6-3, 6-love, 6-7, 6-4. If I were to summarize the entire match, I would say that Berrettini blasted Hurkacz out of the court, oftentimes causing Hurkacz to have no clue of what to do during Berrettini's service games. That said, statistics first. Aces 22 for Berrettini, while Hurkacz hit only 5. Double faults 1 for Berrettini, 1 for Hurkacz. First serve percentage 63 for Berrettini, 57 for Hurkacz. Win percentage on the first serve, Berrettini 86, Hurkacz 63. Win percentage on the second serve, 61. Very, very telling stat there. Hurkacz 50%. Net points won, 64% for Berrettini, 65 for Hurkacz. Break points won, 60% for Berrettini, 0% for Hurkacz, who only saw 2 break points. Receiving points won 40% for Berrettini, 23 for Hurkacz. 60 winners. 60 winners for Berrettini, while hitting 18 unforced errors. 27 winners, 26 unforced errors for Hurkacz. Total points won 127, while Hurkacz won about 97. Berrettini's weapons are great weapons. He has his forehand, which was very visibly the most dominant shot on the court today, and his serve was firing. And when I say firing, I mean 135 miles and higher. I'm not sure whether he clocked to 140. The last time I saw 140 while watching the match itself was when Roddick hit one during the 2009 Wimbledon. That's a long time ago. I believe a lot of players have hit that level, but I just haven't seen it recently. So if I were to see it, it would be amazing. However, going back to the match, first set rather competitive, but you could see that Berrettini was going to be the one to force the issue. His ground strokes were much more powerful. Hurkacz did not show any of the redlining play that he displayed during his victory over Roger Federer, not in the first 2 sets, especially not during the second set. In the first set, Hurkacz had the advantage. I think he had break point early in the first set, but after he was unable to take it, the onus was on the Italian Berrettini to coast through to winning the first set. His serve, as I mentioned, was extremely powerful, and there was not even a whiff of possibility for Hurkacz to win anything else after that, especially demonstrated in the second set, where Hurkacz just could not keep up, not during the service games, and definitely not during the time when he himself was serving. When Hurkacz, the difference between Hurkacz's match against Federer and his match today was that he just did not have his best play, especially during the crucial moments. He was trying a few things. His backhand was nowhere near as solid. Instead of 12 unforced errors, eventually Hurkacz went on to make 26 unforced errors, more than double, while hitting way fewer winners. His game was not clean. A lot of those were a result of the constant pressure that Berrettini was providing with his serve and then his forehand. The forehand was the trigger shot. Anytime Berrettini had a forehand, especially when it's over the net and a little bit into the court, you knew that he was going to go for the shot. And for the most part, Berrettini delivered. He hit 42 more winners than he had unforced errors. That is extremely well done. Now, after the bagel in the second set, all credit to Hurkacz for staying with Berrettini. He had no hope of winning any of Berrettini's service games. However, in the tiebreaker, Hurkacz again showed that he had what it takes to deliver in the big moments when he's backed up against the wall. And that tiebreaker, Hurkacz knows how to win a tiebreaker in the last 2 matches. Against Federer, he might have gotten a bit lucky. Federer slipped. But in this one, he was completely all over Berrettini. He was coming up to the net, Hurkacz was, and he was finding the angles, and he delivered when the times were the most demanding. After that, the fourth set, Berrettini got the break in the first game of the next set, which essentially sealed the deal for me because I believe that Hurkacz could win another very close set if, for example, it was 4-4 and Hurkacz maybe found it himself to maybe break Berrettini, or 5-5 and something happens. In the latter stages, you just don't know how any new player, new at the stage, new to Grand Slam semifinals, new to Grand Slam finals, someone who is new to that stage, you just don't know how they would react during the latter stages of a set, especially with the kind of stakes that they hold. In this case, the stakes being Wimbledon final. But other than that, there was no hope, and that was evident, and that was evidently true because Berrettini carried his advantage forward. He served out what is now his first Grand Slam final, and he is now going to vie to become the eighth person in history to win Queens and then win Wimbledon. Let's see if he's able to do that. Currently, Djokovic and Shapovalov. I don't know whether it's Shapovalov. I just cannot bring myself to say it that way. But if indeed I hear Shapovalov say his name as Shapovalov, I will make an effort to say his name that way. But so far, Djokovic is ahead in a very Djokovic match. I will have another video covering that one once it is done. Cheers.